Welcome to Adults Only Comedy Berlin. Today we're in Melbourne and we're with Freddie Arthur.
Hello.
Hello, Freddie.
Yes, great. Well, I'm just trying to work out where you want me to look. Am I looking at the camera? Am I looking at you? Am I looking sort of in between?
You can look wherever you want, really.
Okay.
I'm going to look at you.
Oh, great.
I hope that's not too confrontational.
That's fine.
That's fine?
That's fine.
That's fine. So we're in week 3 of the Melbourne International Comedy Festival.
Yeah.
And we met over a year ago, I think.
Oh, I was like, are you going to remember? Yeah, okay. There you go.
Well, you've reminded me since. It was a weird night, the night that I hosted the Red Betty open mic during...
Yeah, I remember it being slightly odd. I remember being very hungry and running to get some sushi.
Yeah. I remember feeling like, ooh, it was the first time I'd ever hosted an open mic in Melbourne. In fact, it's the only time I've hosted an open mic in Melbourne. And I host a fuck ton of open mics in Berlin, but it was like, all right, figuring out how that one works.
Yeah.
And it was very kind of last minute, hey, you want to do it? And then, yeah, I was happy to do it, but it felt very chaotic. And the audience as well at Red Betty tends to be hit and miss, I'd say. And
yeah, it's an interesting, I guess you maybe describe it as it's a bit of a dive bar.
It's definitely a dive bar.
So you do get people that come there for comedy, they're the regulars, and then
Yeah.
you do get a lot of people that are just there sort of for a drink and they've stumbled in and they're like, goodness me, what the hell is this?
Yes, you definitely get. And I had that even because I did my solo show there for the festival. And yeah, it was like there were a lot of accidental audience members that weren't really always up for it or respectful or whatever. But look, like, yeah.
Well, there was this one guy that was coming there for a while and I won't say his name, but he would sit down the back and get absolutely smashed.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'd be a terrible heckler, but like a paranoid heckler. So someone would get up on stage and start telling everyone about this story that happened to them when they were a kid, and he'd start yelling out, "Hey, that's my story. That's my life you're talking about." And it was really hard to just tell him to shut up because he obviously really thought.
Oh, that's like, yeah, when so a disruptive person that's got issues. Yeah, that's really tough to manage. So yeah, we met. I was guest hosting, and you did a spot, and then you rushed to get sushi. Did we talk much?
No, I don't know. Look, what I used to do there is I used to draw pictures of the comedians. That's kind of how I got into comedy.
Okay.
I don't know if I've told you much about this.
You're that one because
Yeah.
I feel like Berlin's got its own
Because right before I started comedy, I wasn't really leaving the house. I was going through like a massive PTSD kind of episode that lasted a couple of years. And then I was like, oh my God, I've got to start getting out of this bloody house. But I didn't have any money. So then I just looked up heaps of like free stuff that was going on around me. And one of them was this free comedy night. And so I went down and I get kind of self-conscious when I'm on my own in places. So I just start doodling and I started doodling the comedians. And then someone was like, you should post these pictures and like tag the comedians, whatever. And I did that and I'd done it for a couple of months and then I was like, you know what, I reckon I could do this.
It's enough. Like I started comedy, not exactly like that, but like my boyfriend at the time, he lived with comedians. They started inviting me to shows. I would come, I would watch. I got to be quite friendly with all the comedians.
Yeah.
And then they were like, you should do this. You should do this. You should do this. And,
Yeah.
And so I was like, nah. And they're like, no, you should do it. And I was like, okay, oh yeah. So what is that?
It's the clock.
The clock is still trying to chime. That's so much weirder than the chime. Okay, so just...
Do you know what it's like?
It's like...
No, do you know what it's like? It's like when you go to a park and the swing is swinging without a child in it. That's what it feels like.
Dude. Okay, so context, we're at my parents' place in the living room and my mum has this old... what did she call it? What's this... it's like an old Westminster clock. And it's got a chime, and it's very loud. I actually hear it when I'm not even home.
Oh.
It's one of those things that gets in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be in random toilets, and I can hear that dong, dong. But yeah, it just mum turned it off, and that was a horror movie sound.
I have a similar clock story. I hate clocks. I can't stand clocks.
You can't stand clocks.
I've got a real thing about clocks.
That's interesting.
And one of my housemates used to have this clock. And each number on the face of
Mm-hmm.
the clock had a different Australian bird. So it's a lovely idea.
pretty cool.
And when it would get onto the hour, it would do a bird call.
Oh my God, that's very particular.
It is, but we also didn't have it wound the right way.
It would
so
have a
was set
different
to
bird call every hour?
every hour. Yeah.
That's quite special.
Yeah, so one of them I remember really distinctly was the whip bird. It was and it was kind
It's
of
going to be an
interesting.
ASMR episode.
Because you'd hear it and you go, oh, 5 p.m. But we didn't have it on the right setting. We had it set so that they were on at night.
Oh,
And so all through the night, I'd hear these bird calls. And then it was the same thing. I'd be out walking about and I'd hear it. And then
Yeah.
I think my brain started actually doing it at the time as well, because I'd be
Yes.
hearing this, and I'm just walking through the park and I was like, oh my
5
God, it's
p.m.
5 p.m. It was crazy.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to be conditioned where, I hear the chimes right on the time, even if I'm not here. Yeah.
Yes.
So it does a different chime for every quarter. So it's different for a quarter hour, half, quarter to, and the
Oh,
hour.
goodness me. Well, my grandparents had one that was ding, 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 ding.
Classic.
I haven't heard it for 10 years or something, but it's drilled into my brain.
Yeah, I know that.
It's terrible. And you'd be mid-conversation and you just have to stop.
Yes.
And it would be like that for 1 o'clock. And then as it got further and further along, it would go longer. So you'd just be in the middle of dinner and then you'd all go, and you just have to wait. You'd have to wait for the clock. It's terrible.
Something a bit obnoxious about a clock being so loud that you can't continue conversation. But that's why we're gonna hear it again, although it's not gonna be as impressive as that first attempt, because every quarter and then half and 3/4 is not as loud as the hour.
It's
not as long.
It's doing it multiple times within the hour.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness me.
Every quarter hour it's different.
Oh, okay. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. More to look forward to, guys. Okay. Clock
me.
chat.
Clock chat.
Clock chat. Also,
Goodness
but
me.
it's not that interesting, but also a lot of those thermostats in different countries will have a little clock on it, the thermostat for the heating. And if you're in the room that has the thermostat, I remember lots of places that I crashed in Berlin would have this, and you could just hear.
Oh, I can't stand it. I can't stand any kind of ticking or.
Yeah, ticking's not cool. No, I'm
I don't
very
like
sensitive to noise. So
Yeah.
speaking of neurodivergences, I'm figuring out how to get diagnosed when I get back to Berlin, because they say that certain diagnoses become more as in it's easier to diagnose certain things at different periods in people's lives, and apparently late 30s to 40s for women is often when they realize they have proper ADHD.
Right, proper.
And I seriously, the last 6 months, certain things I've just noticed, I'm like, ooh, it's becoming very pronounced. So my sensitivity to sound has always been there, but you just develop strategies. My time management, I developed strategies in my teens and 20s, to the point where I don't remember the fact that I had to develop those strategies.
Yeah. Mine smell.
Smell's
a big fella for me.
I've got a hugely sensitive olfactory.
Yeah.
And they say, I think it was a good thing that I smoked tobacco for so long, because that effect, good sense of smell is never a positive thing, is what I say.
Oh, hang on a minute.
Nah, mate. You're never smelling the good smells more. You smell them, but then the bad smells are so much more
Well,
prominent.
I make a point of it. If I'm walking along, I'm sniffing a rose.
It's true. I do stuff and smell.
Yeah, but I think
The roses,
the good smells, you're sort of you're making an effort, you're going out of your way, whereas the bad smells, they're coming to you.
Yeah, they're coming to you,
Yeah.
and so often my partner's sense of smell's not great, which I think is a blessing. I can get away with a bit of stuff there.
Yeah.
But
I've got to tell you, I've got a tic disorder. I'm not just being funny.
I didn't know.
Because my worst fear is that people are going to think that I think that I'm being like quirky.
That is the thing.
Oh,
I
it's
guess.
so embarrassing. Yeah. So
So when you go where, that's
it's a lot of them. The problem is the more I talk about it, the worse they get. But I can quickly tell you. I get the physical ones, sort of jerky head, and I get some verbal ones. One of my favorites is sometimes bark.
You say bark or you woof?
Imagine if it was classical music.
Bach.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just. I don't know any Bach.
I know. I was
You need
gonna,
to for that. You need to learn some Bach.
that's a good bit actually. I should maybe do that.
That's
Yeah,
something to
but I
develop.
need to learn some tunes.
Yeah. You mean like a rough?
Yeah. So if I'm, because it happens when I'm really frustrated or like overstimulated or really tired, and yeah, if I get stuck behind people that are walking really slow, just like going, and then I have to just like pretend it wasn't me when they turn around to look. But the first
I
time
can
this,
really relate to that though. Like I am such a cunt with people that are walking slowly.
Yeah.
Holy shit! But I
Yeah.
seldom like. Usually, I might just mutter. I'm gonna be that old woman that's like muttering
I'm
very
doing it now.
audibly.
I'm doing it now, yeah.
I do. I do it. It's just gonna get worse. I
But
think.
if you want to get into adults only, the first time I discovered this tic disorder, I reckon I hadn't had any sex in a while, and then I met up with this guy. I was very forward with this man. I just... I went on a date with this man. Oh, my God.
Had you previously consummated the friendship?
No. I met him on Hinge or one of these things.
Okay, so it was the first date.
Oh my God!
you were
And
very
I
forward.
did that thing where you like grab someone's hand under the table and like put it in your lap.
Oh, were you drinking?
We're both drinking.
Okay. I think that always changes things because since I've stopped drinking, I need to check when people tell these tales. It's like, well, were you sober? Because I think if you're sober and you do that, that is some hardcore shit. But if you're drinking, then yes, like
I don't know if I was drunk enough for it to be like.
Like one of the things I once had, I had a guy that I was flirting with. He accidentally spilled his drink on me, and I was like, I grabbed his hand and I put it in the wet spot. I was like, look how wet you made me.
Oh my God.
Sadly, I was not drunk enough to forget that. I
Yeah,
think he
wow.
reminded me of it actually.
Oh wow. Well,
But-
this guy. So.
And I did even like the side eyes of like the like I needed
no.
to. Yeah.
Oh God.
So
yeah.
anyway, this guy,
yeah.
you got his hand under the table,
Oh yes. Fucking,
and you
yeah.
put it in your lap,
I
like
think
on your
so.
on your leg or on your.
Oh well, I mean, yeah.
On the
It's
spot.
not just gonna be like, because you don't want to confuse them. A lot of men confuse the thigh with the clitoris anyway. You don't want to make that.
So you put him in the right spot immediately.
I believe so. I
Yeah.
was just like, and then he was like, "Should we leave?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then we went to his house, and then we went all right. Look, but it wasn't getting where it needed to go. And as I said, I'd never had the tics before. I didn't know what was going on.
Okay.
And then I got extremely frustrated by this situation. We ended up in his bathroom. Finally, can I just say orgasm?
You can say whatever you want on this.
So
podcast.
finally the orgasm happened, and immediately I just started going and just like twitching and just like jerking and just
Hold on, whose orgasm? Yours?
Mine.
Thank God. I'm just checking. I'm just making sure. I wasn't sure if you were still frustrated. And so it was a reaction to your frustration that you hadn't come. Okay, so you came and then you started having
and
these
then I had
tics.
this enormous tics, and then he didn't know what was going on and just thought I was doing like just something funny. So he just started doing it back. So we're in his bathroom and I'm trying to say no. I'm trying to say no, I can't stop, but it just kept coming up with gibberish. And then he was going, and then it's just like both of us just like shouting gibberish at each other, but me getting more and more frustrated. So it just kept getting worse. And I also didn't know what was going on because I thought maybe I'll never be able to speak again.
Yeah.
But just had a massive, like I was in some ways felt great.
Yeah.
And then so I had to get my notes out, a notes app in my
Yeah,
phone, and
yeah.
just be like, I don't know what's happening. I think it's some kind of Tourette's. And then so we're just chatting in the notes app. Anyway, so
That's so interesting.
oh goodness me.
So how did that resolve itself? Like, did you see him again?
Yeah, he took it on the chin.
Yeah,
and
nice.
actually, he really encouraged me to get into comedy. Actually,
Oh, that's lovely.
which he sort of was sleeping with a few other people, but
We do that, I guess.
yeah. I mean, it was one of those those things where it was like, oh yeah, it's not exclusive, and I was like, yeah, that's fine, and then I was like, maybe I wasn't as fine with it as I thought I was.
Also, like, did you know the other people?
Oh no.
Oh, okay, well then, I think if you know the other people, then it's very uncomfortable. But if you just know that they're seeing other people, then it's like, well, I just keep.
Oh,
seeing
it
other
should have been fine, but I've just got that attachment disorder where you're like, what's it called? The disorganized one?
Is it disorganized attachment disorder?
It's the one that's it's a mix of the anxious and the avoidant.
Avoidant.
Yeah, it's a mix.
Okay.
So I guess it's anxious avoidant.
Anxious avoidant, I think.
Yeah,
Is
I
the
don't
name
know in a
for
way.
that.
Yeah, I don't know. Disorganized.
I'm not sure it's disorganized. I'm not sure if you can have a disorganized attachment style. And I like how you call it attachment disorder. It's just it's a style, I think. Although.
True. But it's the one you have if you've got PTSD usually, like complex
Okay.
PTSD.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
So I have that. So I'm always kind of like go into these things thinking, oh, it'll just be a casual thing. I'm not fussed with it.
And then you're like, oh no, fuck, I want this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of
terrible.
people can relate to that, but
I
then
think
it's
they
how
can.
you actually, how you then manage
That's
within
right.
that dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've definitely had it both ways where I'll be seeing a bunch of people, but there's one person that absolutely becomes my priority, and then I continue seeing the other people just because I know
Yeah.
they're seeing other people, so it makes me feel balanced.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, I think I also have borderline. Well, look, my therapist, I said, look, can you check me out for borderline?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see if I've got this going on. And she
you
did.
say it like it's kind of sexy though, like see if
I
I've got
think it's
this
kind of
going
sexy
on. Yeah, borderline's
because
interesting.
no one's that impressed with depression anymore. You know what I
No
mean?
one's impressed with depression. No, grow up.
Yeah.
So borderline, what are the symptoms? What are the characteristics?
Well, one of the reasons that I really thought that I have it is because of this thing called favorite person.
Okay.
I don't know if there's an extra word on the end.
feel like there
Syndrome?
might be.
Favorite person.
Favorite person syndrome. Okay, well, what does that mean?
So basically, it's just like
You can put disorder in there.
I guess it's basically just like
But-
you overestimate how much you need to be loyal to another person. So it's like loyalty to a fault kind of thing. So it
Interesting.
tends to, I think, I'll say for me, it comes
Making me
from
wonder if I've got borderline.
for me, it comes from a place of trauma, definitely.
I am borderline.
Because
Yes.
yeah, because it's like you grew up with people that maybe weren't always that jazzy to you,
Yeah.
but you're like, well, they're my caregivers, so you just got this kind
Yep.
of warped sense of like being loyal to people, even though maybe they're not that
Yes.
great to you, whatever. What kind of bird is that
I
outside?
have no idea. It's quite beautiful though, isn't it?
It's like a little honeysucker or something.
yeah,
or-
it's quite a pretty bird.
yeah, he's got a long. I'll just describe to the.
It's quite a
He's got a long. He's a tiny bird, and then he's got a long.
long beak.
Long beak.
And a very, very kind of elegant little
Yeah,
bird.
very elegant. He's a fast fella.
He's a sir
Yeah.
or a lady. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so
So it's kind of it's developed from having like maybe toxic relationships, but you mean like you're still looking after them.
yeah, and then also I kind of like if I make a best friend, then I'm like, okay, that's my best friend now. I can't have any other friends. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
yeah.
I've had to really unlearn that, you know.
I
So-
always had like a best friend growing up, and I've had most of my heartbreaks have been from best friends.
Oh.
Like
Yeah,
I've just had and
actually.
I'm super loyal and like prioritize them, but I'm always just someone that has like a few close friends, and then I'm not really like I've always been in lots of group dynamics, but I always feel like I'm on the outside and I can really only engage with people one on one.
Yep.
But like I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love a bit of one-on-one.
I can't. Yeah, when group settings, I'm just like, it's too much pressure right now. Like,
Yeah.
no one's paying me.
Well, yeah, true. Well, yeah, because I forget I'm there. I dissociate quite badly. If no
Interesting.
one's talked to me in a little while, I do wonder if I'm in the room. Yeah.
I just start. Yeah, I'll listen, and then if I do want to say something, it's like, but then it's like I prefer to actually just engage properly and have like real content with someone else. But so this favorite person syndrome, that's a key element of
Yes.
borderline
Yes.
personality vibes. Okay, and but anything else?
Anything else? I mean, there's a lot of other syndromes. I mean, I don't want to say, maybe I'll just say the things for me. Oh, God, here we go.
It's such a creepy fucking clock sound.
Oh, it's done. Well,
It's
quick
done,
as
yeah,
a flash.
nice and quick, yeah.
Yeah, I think also just like some mood stuff, like rejection kind of sensitivity. I think is a big thing as well. But I mean, it's also a big thing for a lot of other. You know what I mean? I've got OCD.
Yeah.
Got PTSD. Got depression, anxiety. I've got fibromyalgia. Like just
What was that last thing?
Fibromyalgia,
What's that?
pain and fatigue
Myalgia,
type
okay.
thing. Yeah.
Oof. Yeah, I just think I think I've got ADHD and OCD for sure.
Yeah, and maybe autism because I used to hide under the sink.
Is it the sink specific?
No, well, I don't know, but like just small spaces,
small
you know what I
spaces. Yep,
mean?
yep,
And
yep,
then
yep.
like I never didn't really have friends in primary school, and then I just love lying under my bed. I just was like, yeah.
Yeah, small spaces. I can understand that.
Who knows? I don't know. It's always that question of is it worth getting the diagnosis?
Yeah.
Is it worth going through the rigmarole?
Is the diagnosis going to be helpful?
Yeah.
Is that gonna put you in a better place? For me, I've just noticed, and I think they say that with ADHD, for women, it's like, yeah, we're so conditioned to sort of just be kind of like, I don't know, we create strategies quite quietly and just fucking become socially acceptable in our sort
Yeah.
of teens or whatever. But then in your late 30s, it's not that your hormones specifically change. I'm not sure they might, but definitely they say, and it's like proven that PMS becomes a thing in your like way more of a
Oh,
thing
I've heard. Yeah,
in your sort of
okay.
30s, late 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I never really suffered from my period at all in my
Yeah.
20s, but my cycle is so like yes, I also stopped taking the pill. I was on it for like 11 years.
Yes.
And so I
Same.
stopped that like 8 years ago, pretty much
Yeah.
as soon as I moved to Berlin, mainly because I was like, I can't be fucked going to a German doctor and getting the script. So,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was like, no, I'm going to go all natural. And when I did that, just getting to know my body. But definitely I would say in the last 3 years, like after 35, the intensity that I feel my cycle is like,
Oh, okay.
and it's not because of, I don't believe it's because the pill's out of my, like, it's been out of my system for, close to 8 years now.
okay.
It's that I think the hormones are more intense or
Yeah.
and then that coupled with sort of ADHD that you didn't really identify before, I've felt myself and sort of often ADHD apparently can be misdiagnosed as just anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
So I go through I've noticed, I go through very intense states of depression, but it's not to the extent of bipolar.
Yeah.
Because it's not like for more than a week, but it is like several
Yeah,
days
yeah.
or a bit more. And to the point where it's actually starting to interfere with my ability to function. And but then I seem to stabilize again, but then all these other little symptoms like my noise sensitivity, my light sensitivity is fucking off the charts at the moment.
Yeah.
Like I hadn't noticed it before, and now it's like far out. I am so intolerant and affected by it. And then, all the other things, it's like, anyway. So I'm going to get a diagnosis when I'm working on, I'm emailing different clinics in Berlin to try and get that. Whether or not medicine will help, the one time I've taken Adderall, I was wasted, and my friend gave it to me because he was like, don't take that shitty Coke that you bought. And I'm like, yeah, but I got it. He's like, take my Adderall. The next day, once the alcohol had worn off, and gave me he has quite a hefty prescription. The next day, I've never felt my head so organized.
Oh, is this still
Yeah.
recording us?
It just moves along the other side. Don't you worry about that. Wait. It's a system. I promise it's recording. If it's not, let's just do that. Yeah, you can.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Don't you worry.
Oh, goodness me.
It's okay. Everyone asks it.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There's a setting that I could adjust on Ableton for it to just follow, but I like everyone to ask me every episode. So, and it's all good because it's nicer when a female does it because it's always the men.
Oh, well, is that because you only have men on your show?
No, it's because only men want to make sure that I'm doing what I do correctly.
Oh, yeah, such an Ableton thing as well. Yeah.
Do you know
how to use Ableton?
Do you even know what you're doing? No, I don't take it like that. But yeah, anyway. So, do you think like are there meds for borderline? Like, would you like some meds? Would you like just some sort of strategies for if it is that?
Oh, I think it's just being a bit more aware of myself, being very kind to myself, and also just being like, or just after finding out more about it. I mean, it's also potentially an OCD thing because I've had OCD the longest. It's been my longest mental illness and it's my favourite one. And yeah, a lot of stuff comes out of that. Just, sort of just constantly doubting. It's like, oh, if I've got this friend, but then I go out and hang out with this other friend, does that mean I'm not a good friend? It's just like constantly questioning. So a lot of it could just potentially be OCD.
Yeah, those sort of obsessive thoughts.
Yeah. It's amazing how much OCD affects like every moment of my life.
Fuck.
Because I kind of knew I had it when I was younger because I used to do the more kind of stereotypical OCD stuff. Like I was obsessed with germs. I'd wash my hands all the time, all that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And like doing things in like a set number of things.
Yeah. Just being, making sure that I did things in a certain way, and I really didn't like anything to touch anything else. So if my grandmother had given me like a really nice bracelet, then I could never let it touch something that wasn't quite as special. Like,
interesting.
Like like a library book or something. I was like, oh, those two things.
Yeah.
They're not
That
kind of thing. So, and then my mum was really like, you got to stop washing your hands, blah, blah, and worrying about all this stuff. And my nan had a chat with me and said, oh, when I was a little girl, I used to play in the dirt all the time. And then my mum took me to the doctor and said, oh, she's going to get sick. She's always playing in the dirt. Tell her to stop playing in the dirt. And the doctor said, no, she needs to play in the dirt. It's good for her. And then for some reason that kind of like switched things around for me a bit.
Nice. Oh, Grandma, good job.
Yeah, because I really like looked up to my nan a lot, and then I stopped washing my hands, but it didn't actually fix the problem. It just internalized it.
Yeah.
So then a lot of it became like thought based and constantly like checking my thoughts and being like, oh, was that a bad thought? Like, did I think something bad about someone? Am I a bad person? Blah blah. All that kind of thing. So it became more of that like kind of like checking.
Yep.
So then I just didn't. I thought I got over OCD, and then I don't know. After having it for like 10 or 15 years or something, I did group therapy, and then I was like, oh wow, it's actually quite bad. Like to the point where I wasn't really leaving the house much and stuff, because I was just like, sometimes it still happens a lot. Like I'll maybe just be walking somewhere, and I'm just ambling along, just going for a casual leisurely walk. And then I'll think, do I want to go right or left? And then I just start like thinking about the possibilities, and then I'm just like, have that kind of like butterfly effect where I just panic, and I'm like, oh, maybe if I go right, I'll run into someone, and then that'll change the course of their day, and then they'll get hit by a car, and blah, 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 and like, it just spirals, and then I just stand there. It's just like this terrible indecision, and I just can't move.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think my mum's got some pretty hardcore. Love my mom. Both my parents are actually quite in slightly different ways, but I think that. But also, I've got a bit of that. But I kind of hate. I hate bringing this up, and it doesn't always work, and it's not like it doesn't fix everything. But I think in my sort of. I think I've done a lot of work with Buddhism to try and like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, So a lot of those kinds of. Like thought patterns that I think I had in my 20s. I think in my late 20s, I brought in some Buddhist practices that have allowed me to like given me space in my head.
Yeah. What are some of the practices?
I would say it's a lot of kind of just accepting.
Oh, okay.
Like it's a lot of acceptance stuff.
Just don't worry about it.
Just don't worry about it. But more just being present.
Yeah.
And also in connection with Buddhism, also doing a lot of work with like trusting your gut.
Yes.
And so there's a classic book that I constantly reference, but not all the time. Otherwise, but it's called "Women Who Run with the Wolves," and it's about.
Oh, I have heard of it.
Yeah, it's about sort of connecting yourself with, like the wild woman, and like sort of this like deeper intuition that most cultures and societies continue to disconnect women from their and men from their deeper kind of collective subconscious or ancestral intuition.
Oh, okay.
And trying to reconnect with that. So sort of those two things in tandem have given me a bit of space to just like try and, actively ask myself what I want and what's important and getting sort of prior and then sort of taking action from there, but being present with things and not going through the different
I do a lot of like
hypotheses.
Probably one of the things I do the most because I've experienced a lot of social anxiety recently. There was a muffin incident. I don't know if I told you about this.
Is this pre-Melbourne Comedy Festival or in Melbourne Comedy Festival?
Yeah, in Melbourne Comedy
Yeah, the festival's a very special time for comedians to lose their shit here, it seems. Yeah.
So I made these muffins and I made these muffins.
Muffins are always funny, I think. Muffin is something just about the word. It's a great word.
Because it means vag, doesn't it? You say, oh,
a muff.
I'd love to have a go at your muff? No, maybe it's not a thing.
I don't think it's muffin that's the vag.
It's muff.
It's the
yeah,
muff.
Right. Well, because I knew someone who told me that they used to teach a kid or something that referred to hers as her muffin.
I'm down.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I don't think
always get kids
it should be a
to
cupcake.
No. Kids should always be using the correct
Yeah.
terminology because
I agree
it
with
protects them.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Protects them. Yes, that's a very good point.
Because they can advocate for themselves better. They're less likely to be assaulted because someone's like, oh, they know what they're talking about. They're going to be able to tell someone what I did and
Absolutely,
all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
So,
that's a very good point.
Do not be calling it a muffin.
But also have like a very, like it's also good to instill a healthy, honest relationship and medical understanding of
and
the bits.
reduce shame and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So this
That's
kid
right.
called it her muffin.
Her muffin,
But
yeah.
you baked some muffins.
Yes, that's what we're talking about. So I baked some.
But when I say muff, I do feel like it's a hairy vagina.
Oh, also, like if you're an adult talking to another adult, go for it.
Your
Right.
muff. Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
But I do feel like muff has a hairy connotation.
Oh, yeah.
Muff diving.
Actually, I
Like you
think
got to
so.
dive because it's like you're going through the jungle, right? No.
Yeah.
Muff diving, that's a term, right?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. Well, look, because I'm bisexual, but I haven't actually.
I like how you say bisexual.
I do. I love to say
Bisexual. I'm bisexual.
But I
I'm
haven't done any muff
bisexual.
diving. I'm looking to dive.
Oh.
I haven't kissed any women still.
Shit.
Yes.
Okay, I can't tell you how many, but I've done. Yeah, look, I'm not trying to brag, but.
Yeah, but I've only been in the game for a year.
Oh, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for
It's
having
lovely
me.
to have you.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to say it as much as possible because I've got to like really kind of like affirm it for myself and also like reduce the shame for myself.
Yeah.
I feel a lot of like, maybe I don't feel as much shame now. That's why I also wanted to like put on a queer comedy show and like
Great.
also, yeah, so just try and say it as much as possible. What are we talking about?
We're talking about your muffins.
My muffins. So I made these muffins.
Plural.
I made these muffins and then I was like, oh my God, I've got so many muffins. And I cooked them a little bit too long.
How many are we talking?
Oh, I mean like 16. Do you know what I mean?
That's a lot, though. That's a lot of
a lot.
muffins, yeah.
So I'd cooked them not so much that they were inedible. Like they weren't burnt to the point that you couldn't eat them, but they were just a little bit overcooked to the point that they were a little bit like, I thought, oh, these are going to dry up.
Yep. Your muffs are going to dry. Muffins are going to dry.
So I was like, these all need to be eaten
Yes.
like over the next few days. And I was
Yes.
like, I can't be doing it.
You can't.
And
eat
I
all
had a
the
gig
16.
that night, yeah.
Were they
So I
big
was like-
muffins or small muffins?
I mean, they were like, do you know what? They were about the size of my breast. Which
Okay,
doesn't
all right.
mean that much to you, but like,
No,
I
I'm
just,
looking.
like a handful. I don't know why didn't I just say handful?
That's the size of your breast. Yeah. We're making it sexual here, okay?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't
We
need
had
to do that.
We had Freddie breast muffins.
Yeah, so, oh my God.
Freddie.
I've never tried, because it's like this silicon muffin tray that we have. I've never tried putting it in. And
Oh, you should give it a crack when you get home. You could then have like you could be like a
communal muffin
pig.
tray, but- oh my God, yeah.
All
Oink,
your
oink, oink,
teats
oink.
in the tray.
Yeah, great.
Okay, so medium-sized muffins.
Medium-sized muffins. I messaged this group chat because I was going to this comedy gig. It's a lineup show, and I was like, none of these people are eating properly because it's a comedy festival. They're all off their chops. They're probably doing heaps of drugs and whatever, and they're not having a snack.
Yep.
And it was around Easter and everything was shut. So I was like, they couldn't even get a snack if they wanted one. So I bagged them up. I sent a message in the group chat. I said, hey, everyone, I've just made some muffins. Mistake I made was I said they are a little bit burnt.
I never
Yeah,
tell
I know,
them.
never
Yeah,
tell them when I
never
say
tell
anything.
them.
I
People
but
get turned off things
they
that
do.
are free very
Yeah,
quickly.
Exactly, yeah. I tried to turn it around by saying they're a little bit burnt, but in a French way.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah,
good. That's
that's
good.
great,
That's
yeah.
so like being honest, but
Yeah.
still making it
Yeah.
appealing.
Anyway, I didn't want anyone to forego dinner.
No.
Do you know what I mean? And then get there and be like, oh, fuck, these are burnt in a French way.
In a French
so
way.
I bagged them up.
Burnt in an American way would be bad, right? Burnt in a
So I've messaged this chat.
in a Japanese way also is good.
Oh, okay.
Here you go, I reckon. Okay, so anyway, it's kind of jazzy.
It's kind of jazzy, baby.
The clock is jazzy, guys.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
So you brought them in, yeah.
I've bagged them up. I've sent this message. I thought, wow, people are going to be going off for these muffins.
All right, you really, got your expectations a little high, but
And then it had that thing where, like, I've sent the message and everyone sees it and no one
No one
answers.
responds, yeah.
No one even does a little emoji.
yep,
Nothing.
nothing.
And then I thought, well, I can't leave them behind because I've said that I'm bringing them. So I took them there, but then I just felt so embarrassed because I'm carrying around these muffins that no one wants to eat.
And it's a lot of them too.
There's a lot of them. And I was doing that thing in my head where I was just imagining like everyone just setting up like a new group chat and just being like, did you see that Freddie Arthur like tried to like is like bringing muffins and like trying to like, oh, she's trying to like make everyone like her by bringing muffins and blah, 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 and all this. And I was just like, I was spiraling. I was really down. Like I was.
It really got to you.
It was getting like.
Why didn't anyone just fucking like thumb up the message?
Someone ended up giving it a heart.
Okay, good. Jesus.
And then I get to the gig. And it's like 10 p.m. and I thought, perfect time, bit of dessert.
Yeah.
And I get there and someone I know just said, hey, how are you? And I said, not good. Did you see the message about the muffins? And they were like, what are you talking about? And I was like, a message about these muffins. No one's liked it. I'm worried no one's going to eat them. I'm just carrying these muffins around. I'm worried people have started a new chat about me. Are people talking about me? What are they saying?
What did you tell them what the flavor was?
Yeah, chocolate muffins.
Chocolate. Okay.
With some choc chips.
That's a classic.
And then luckily, everyone was like, oh, I'm so full. Luckily, someone ended up obviously just feeling so sorry for me that they ate one and said, that's the best muffin I've had. So then someone else ate one and then someone else ate.
This is how
they
it
ended up
works.
being a hit. But I mean, I was absolutely beside
there.
myself.
Oh, God.
Which is funny, isn't it? Because some people get really nervous about the gig.
Yeah. You got nervous about the muffins.
So I didn't give a shit about the gig. I mean, like, I enjoyed myself. I was excited, but I was not nervous. No, I couldn't.
I'm glad that it went all right. I'm sorry that you spiraled. That's fucked. It's fucked to feel all of those things. Just fucking react, guys. React to the messages. But what was I thinking? I baked. Whenever I'm in a happy relationship, I start baking. I love baking, but I seldom do it by myself because then it's just me, and I live by myself with like a whole banana bread. Yes. What am I going to do? So I'll and so I typically don't bake unless I live with people or I've got a partner. And even then, my partner, like, it's just the two of us. We're not going to get through a whole fucking cake, right? So in January, I baked this shitty cake. And it was shitty. It was a packet mix, but I was like, I felt like I wanted to make a cake. And so I made it. Yeah. And then I was putting on this festival, like a comedy festival the next day. So I brought it with me. But I was so ashamed of it. I never told anyone about it. Took it with me to the gig. I kind of put it in the green room and like uncovered it, and it had a knife, and it was like, if people see it, they can eat it. But no one fucking touched it. I had like 2 little mouthfuls during the festival because it was the only food I had access to. Brought some mandarins as well, but then I ended up taking the whole fucking thing home.
I don't understand it unless you've got like some dietary requirements, allergies, whatever. I don't understand why you're turning away free food. I could have had a 3-course meal and I rock up and someone says, oh, do you want a biscuit? I'm like, yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah, I'd have a biscuit.
Yeah.
Now, I do have, my listeners know this story quite well, but like I did have a supporter, I like to say, a supporter who would bring baked goods to my shows for me.
That's lovely.
It's lovely, however...
Oh, a bit weird.
Yeah. Well, it only got weird. He's Italian, and like, they were like good recipes. The first thing he ever brought me was a dessert called like the translation is like Daddy's salami. And it's like a log, like a chocolate log. It's got biscuits through it, and it's like a chocolate salami. And so, like, as in, like, you cut it and it's like these little cute slices that are like speckled.
Delicious,
it is delicious, yeah.
Okay.
But there was a bit of a connotation there. It's like all the things you chose to make me, you made something that was kind of penis shaped. Now, then the next time he brings something, I don't recall the exact chronology here, but often he'd bring me something. I'd be like, oh, do you want something? He'd be like, oh, no.
He doesn't eat his own meat. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, then that happened a few more times, and I was like, hey, dude, like, do you want something? He's like, oh, no, it's like got too much butter and sugar in it. He was never eating what he gave to me, and I told my mum about it, and my mum, you know what my mum first says? He probably jizzed in it, Anna. Probably got his jizz all in it, Anna.
Oh my God, this woman.
He probably just ejaculated all in that bowl as he stood. It's like, all right, now then.
I want to hear it from her lips though. But I can hear her saying it. Oh my God.
Yeah, and I was like, oh no. And then the next few times it just started sounding like in my head, it's just like, this is actually what he's doing. And then it became this like running joke in the comedy scene in Berlin that I would have these baked goods and it'd be like, hey guys, you want to try some? And they'd be like, they've got jizz in them, don't they? And then they'd still end up being so hungry that they would eat it, and they'd be like, this jizz tastes pretty good.
Yeah.
But like they just got progressively more and more kind of cream based. And like one time, I think second last time, he made me this huge carrot cake. And then he's like, look, I made the icing and I put it separately because I made so much icing. He gave me this tub that was like an ice cream container full of this cream cheese icing for the carrot cake. And it just looked like a bucket of jizz. It was like bad jizz, like unhealthy.
Bad jizz. Oh,
change your diet jizz.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Yeah.
People do have that, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, look, like that was but it's funny, like people, even though there was maybe jizz in it, people would still sometimes eat it. So,
But that pisses me off because I've got no reputation for jizz, and I brought these muffins, and I had to really
sell them.
Yeah, and then you're walking around with these jizzy muffins.
Jizzy, yeah, well, not muffins.
Not muffins, jizzy baked goods.
Jizzy patisserie.
Yeah. They must have been really good.
Look, I stopped eating them. I really did. I ate the first couple, and then it was like, and then I couldn't. And to the point, and then I got to a point where I told them, look, I need you to stop bringing me stuff.
Yeah.
It's too much. We don't really know each other like this, and it does feel imbalanced.
And if it was, do you know what? If he just brought it to the gig and been like, hey, this is for all the comedians.
This is for all the comedians, but it's just specifically for me.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, so it was uncomfortable.
That is uncomfortable.
Yeah. Now, I'm not sure if you want to loop back around to it, but I am curious. Have you, like, with the tick that came after your big orgasm, like, that's an interesting outcome for coming, like that's like had it really never happened before?
Oh, it had never happened before, and the interesting thing is that it happened since, like it happens nearly like most times that I
when you come
with another person. If I'm by myself, it's just like away you go. I don't know if it's some kind of performance thing. I don't know. I think I let myself go more with another person, which is maybe a bit weird. Yeah.
Well, it's also like you're not in control.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you're not in control, then you're not controlling the coming.
Yeah. So
you are a bit out of control.
I have to warn people. I'm like, there's going to be ticks. And if there's not ticks, you didn't do a good enough job, frankly.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's all it. Oh, you're going to get a performance review immediately afterwards.
But it's pretty wacky.
It is. Yeah, you said it. It is a bit. It's a bit wacky. I have to warn people that if I do come well, I typically laugh. Like I usually laugh when I come.
Oh wow!
Like afterwards, I end up like dying with laughter because I somehow it's like it's joy, and I'm very expressive in joy, and that joy is usually in the form of laughter.
That's really nice. I guess some people probably cry.
Yeah, some people cry. I can also the laughter can go to the extent where I cry, but it's happy crying.
Oh wow!
But some people can take it badly. That's why I kind of warn them. I'm like, look, if I come hard, like I might laugh, and it's not. I'll be like, I'm not laughing at you. Like I'm laughing. It's just joy. It's just joy.
Yeah. Have you seen a man have a full body orgasm?
A full body orgasm.
Oh my God.
I'm not sure. Like I'd say yes.
Scariest thing. No.
Do you mean like a tantric thing? Like where it's like, what do you mean by a full body
All right.
orgasm?
So I'll tell you what happened with me. I was with this guy. We're doing a root and a toot. And then he sort of like started shuddering. And he was like, and bear in mind as well, this was like a one night stand that I'd met like on a dating app. And it was like, hey, come around to my house. So I didn't know anything about this. It was not like, maybe don't do that. But like,
don't do that.
Yeah, don't.
That's it. We've all done it.
Yeah. I'll do it again.
I'll do it again.
Anyway, but and
if it feels right and safe, you know, you do it.
He seemed like a. But anyway, whatever.
No, we do it.
But yeah, so he was literally like,
don't do it. Yeah, sorry, go on.
He's on the top position, and then he was sort of like this, and he's closed his eyes, and then he's like clenched his fist, and I was like underneath him, just being like, oh shit, is this how I die? Because this man is like clenching his fist, and I was just like, am I about to get Sorry, this is quite scary, but I wasn't. And then he was like, and it was just like his muscles contorting. And then I remember thinking, oh my God, he's the Incredible Hulk. And then he was just like going like this, and he was like, like this, and his eyes rolled back in his head.
Oh fuck!
His eyes rolled back in his head. And it was just like this Jekyll and Hyde thing. And then he ended up eventually just like doing this like convulsions, and then like just collapsed on top of me. And then I thought, oh my God, this is like in Downton Abbey when the guy dies during sex.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, oh my God, he's had a heart attack. And I was like, so I was like reaching for my phone. And then I was like, I'm just going to have to call out to my housemates. And just as I was about to like call out and be like, oh my God, I think I just heard him like breathe or sigh or something. And then I just like patted his back. And I thought, oh, he's obviously had like, he's had a bit of a moment. And I was like, are you okay? And I was like, and then he was like, oh, that was great. And I was like, what the hell? Because the other thing is, it lasted like 10 minutes. Like, it went for a really long time.
He should warn people.
Well, that's what I said. I said, I think you need to let people know that that's how you orgasm, if that's how you always... And he was like, oh, it's normal. And I was like, I've been around the traps, mate, and I've never seen anything like that.
Someone's like, that's normal? It's like, dude.
Because he also went like really heavy and collapsed on me, and then I was just stuck there, and I just had to just lie there for
You can't
a
just
long
collapse on someone like that.
It was frightful.
Dude, that's no. Okay, I have not had that. I've definitely had people have like very
Yeah.
intense orgasms,
Yeah.
sure, but like that is extreme.
Yeah.
It sounds. I like how he's like, that's normal.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
my favorite part. Like, dude, I'm trying to give you some really delicate feedback, and
Yeah.
you're like, no, it's not. I'm normal.
Yeah, no, it was. Let's check the time quickly.
Yes, true. It is 4:42.
Okay, great. No,
Let me just make sure both clocks are correct. Yeah, 4:42.
Yeah, jazzy.
Jazzy, yeah, the clock's gonna go soon. But that's crazy. No,
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you had this is not a fun topic actually, but it's
Okay.
something that like I've
Right.
had partners ask me. It's like worst sexual experiences.
Oh, okay.
It's such a bad topic though, but maybe it does give maybe people
Something
listening.
I really don't like, and this is a bit of a PSA.
Okay.
Just because someone's wearing a choker doesn't mean they want you to choke them.
God no, Jesus no.
I've had people in the middle of the sexual just grab me around the neck, and then I'm like, oh, hang on. And then they're just like, oh, you're wearing a choker.
like, dude, no.
Like, yeah, it doesn't say please choke me. Like,
No.
and then still ask. You know.
Always ask.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter
so
what.
I just let people know that.
Even if you say I like choking in a conversation 3 hours
Yes.
beforehand, doesn't mean you're going to want to get choked in that
Yes,
moment. Like you've
exactly.
always got to ask for consent.
Very, very strange.
Jesus.
I don't know why people are making this assumption, and I would say that's like most of the men I've had sex with will just like do, and I'm like, oh,
No, it's always a
yeah,
that's a
it's terrible stuff.
it's like if you can go for it, but the going
Yeah.
for it is is this cool?
Yeah, and I think the other thing to keep in mind is because for me, if someone just sort of lightly puts their hand there, I'm like, oh, okay, they're just sort of testing. But I think a lot of people have got a lot of trauma around choking, so I would even ask even before you put your hand there. Like I would just
Yeah.
because it's just such a
It's a very well, dude. Like it's life threatening.
yes.
Like you've got to trust the person who's doing. The first
Yeah.
time a guy ever tried to choke me, he put his hand on
Yeah.
my collarbone, and he was on top of me, so I just put my hand on his throat, and then he moved it immediately, and I was like, all right, cool.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I was just like,
That's
dude,
so
like
funny.
we haven't had this conversation.
No,
Why would
that's
you
right.
assume I want
Yep,
that?
yep.
And you always need to talk
Yeah.
about it. Like,
Yeah.
it's also like that's it. I have heard from lots of male friends that there are a lot of ladies out there who just like to slip a finger in,
Oh, I've heard this as well.
and it's
Isn't
like,
it
ladies,
awful?
no, you need to ask consent
Yes.
for that. What are you
So
doing?
someone that I know said that like so a bisexual person
Bisexual.
said that women will just assume because
Yes.
they're bisexual, and it's like no.
No.
That's terrible. I think they had long nails as well.
Ugh.
Yeah,
I just don't understand.
That's awful. Like that's really not good. Don't be doing that.
No, and I think any like any play that's outside of what's clearly already happening, like anything
Yeah.
that's out, like the thing is, even within like very standard kind of pure like front genital stuff, you're still kind of checking in. Like even if you're grabbing something, in grabbing it, you're checking how they
Yeah.
like that.
Well, some people don't even like their chest being touched. Like
Yeah.
you've gotta
I'm not sure if you can hear, guys, but this is the quarter hour. No, the quarter 2 hour. 3/4 hour clock chime. Look, you got to check in with everything, and you got to give people space to let them let you know. You got to give them space to let you know if it's okay or not. Yeah, people can have lots of different little
you know
quirks.
what
People don't
else?
like their ears being touched. People
Oh,
might not like their
yeah.
fucking.
Do you know what else I would love to say? I'd just like to encourage all women to advocate for yourself in the sack.
Yes.
Because I think
As in, like, your orgasm is important?
as in be like, if you feel comfortable communicating how you want someone to pleasure you, then please do. Because when I've had I don't know why I keep saying, I say the sexual, when I've had a sexual with a man, I'm very like,
Roll with it, yeah.
roll with it, yeah. But am I doing it because I'm too ashamed to say sex?
I don't know. You got to figure that out.
Figure it out, yeah,
The
right.
sexual is still. It's
I
like
love
you're
to
even
say
extending the
But
sex and
it's
saying
quite,
the
it's-
sexual.
Yeah, I think I find it quite cute.
I think it's the X sound is quite fun there. 'Cause
Yeah,
sex is
I think
quite
I like
short.
the yule. I like
It's the
sexual,
yule.
sexual.
Yeah. It's more
So
sensual.
if I'm doing a sexual with a man,
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, like, you touch, like, I'll be like, here, please, and then here. Like, I'm very assertive
Clear.
and communicative. And then people have said to me, oh, I've never had, a lot of times, like, they've been like, oh, I've never had a woman just tell me what she actually wants. So I think there's that thing of like, oh, men don't know how to pleasure a woman, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, maybe they don't, but they also probably maybe...
Haven't been.
'Cause
Maybe
everyone's
you're not
different
telling
as
them.
well.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's like they might have been with a woman for many years and she loves it a certain way, and then
Yes.
I think you've got to tell people.
We're all different, and like I think the biggest thing, like on that topic, is more if someone gives you feedback, don't take it personally.
Yes,
That's the thing. It's like so for me, for example, I think maybe you would be more forward than me in the bedroom. I quite like seeing how, like, I'm not saying you don't like seeing how things go, but I'm quite like, let's see how we organically pair.
Oh, yeah.
And like I'm like, let me see if you can find what works
Oh,
for
that's
me.
interesting. Because sometimes it surprises you.
Exactly. People can do things that I'm like, oh, actually that works for me,
Yeah.
or actually that really doesn't. But like, I like to give it sort of the organic, like I like to let it develop organically.
Like a sourdough.
Like a sourdough, exactly. I like to see how we rise together, and then maybe there's some pointers that come into it, but it might take me a little while with someone to get to the point where I feel, because my trauma is about giving feedback and people reacting badly to that.
Ah, yeah, okay.
So I'm very non-verbal in a lot of my directions.
Oh, okay.
And then it'll be a little bit verbal, and then I'm very careful with how I communicate things.
Yeah, okay.
But I've also, like, I do give quite a bit of space to see how we naturally
Yeah.
bond, and what
Yeah.
what do they want to do with my body, and what do I want to do with their body.
Okay.
And maybe I do something that they don't like, and that's okay. Maybe they do something I don't like, but like,
Yeah.
play it, like, see what you want to do.
Do you know what I want to say as well?
What?
It's shit me up the wall the way people are like, oh, men are so easy to pleasure. Oh, they
No,
all
they're
want it the
not.
same
They're
way.
all different.
No, excuse me.
Yes.
No one likes their dick sucked the same. Not exactly
Not
the
exactly.
same.
No.
So I was telling someone about this recently. There was this guy that
Yeah,
I was
they're
and
all they're all
apparently
different, right?
apparently also and this is another thing, apparently the men aren't telling women when they're not sucking the way they want it because they're worried that they'll just never get any more head. Please
but
tell me. I want to
tell
do it
us.
well. I
Absolutely.
want to do it well.
No, I specifically with that, I am quite, because you've got to, in order to ask for feedback, you got to stop doing it. So I'm actually quite. How am I doing? This good? No, but I will be like, where do you want it? Like tell me, and like
Yeah.
I'll come up for air and be like, like that, or where you like the contact there, and like give them a second to get some words out with any kind of direction, or maybe they're just like,
Yeah.
this is perfect, and it's like, okay. But also, like, I don't mind the hand on my head. I don't mind that
okay.
at all. I don't mind some direction like that at all.
Okay,
That doesn't
alright.
bother me.
Yeah.
But that's consensual as well. It's
Yeah.
like if that's how you're showing me what you like, that's totally okay.
Yeah.
If it's within a frame of respect.
Yeah, because there's this one guy that I was doing a sexual with. Goodness me. And he very specifically, it was really good direction that he gave. He said, lick it like a lollipop. And I was like, wow.
Really interesting.
And then it was kind of like a sort of a sexual TAFE situation. He really took me through the education of his cock, I suppose.
Beautiful.
He really liked it like this.
Oh, he liked
Like
a
a
circular motion with
round,
your
yeah.
tongue.
And so I was like, oh my God, I've been doing it wrong this whole time.
No. Oh, so you started doing that with everybody else.
And they were just like, what are you doing? But I got so good at it. I'm really good at doing this motion.
Well,
But
you
I
gotta
wonder
use
if
it.
it's transferable to women, to the muffin,
To the muffin. To the muffin.
to the clit and the vag.
Yeah, that's the
The
thing with
vul.
women. It's like I've only eaten out, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe like 4 women. Yeah.
Only 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think 4, maybe more, actually, if I think about some of the group sex situations I've had. Definitely, yeah. But I can't say that I feel confident in my strategy. And I think with women, I typically do what I like, and then I'll be like, what do you want? And they can tell me.
What do you want,
What do you
baby?
want, baby?
Just the usual.
Just the usual.
Yeah, great.
But also like same with breasts as well. Like people have different sensitivity to breasts and how they
Yeah.
like that kind of thing.
True, okay.
Same with butt stuff. It's like and with the vag, it's like there's the clitoris and the hole. So it's like how you navigate that as well. It's like there's so many options there. So
Great.
But what's great about sex is that there's never anything in your ears, so you can always listen.
Well, unless you're deaf.
Unless you're deaf. It's true, but luckily for me, I can always hear the feedback,
Yeah,
Even if my
yeah,
mouth's
yeah,
full,
yeah.
you can still direct me.
Oh, God. Yeah, okay. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's many ways to communicate.
There are many ways.
Yeah.
The thighs can communicate a lot. Usually eyes are not the way you communicate during sex. I don't know. So in terms of the kinky stuff, like, yeah, I feel like the PSA guys choking always ask for consent regarding the choking. Ladies always ask for consent regarding fingers and buttholes. Also men always ask for consent before going for the butthole as well, of course. You
Goodness
know?
me, yeah.
Goodness me. In terms of like worst sexual encounters, for me, my worst sexual encounter that I recall when people ask me was just when I was fucking someone that I didn't want to. You realize halfway through that you're like,
oh no,
I don't really want to be fucking this person.
Oh no, that's terrible.
And then it's
that's
like,
awful.
and then you finish, and yeah, I remember I was sort of seeing this guy a couple of times, and he was very unstable, and like, and that's fine, but and I was in quite a situation of flux as well, but like he was, drinking a lot and quite unstable, and like talking about his ex quite a bit, and it was like just a very unhealthy point in their life.
Yeah.
Don't know if they've gotten any better, but I remember, it was like maybe the second time we'd hooked up, and
dear.
he, after he came, I just like rolled over and kind of cried, and he's like, "Oh, what's wrong?" And I'm like, "Oh no, just tired."
Oh no.
But it was also like,
terrible.
it was the kind of sex where it was like I wasn't really. Yeah, when you fuck someone again, you're like, maybe I'll enjoy it this time, and it doesn't happen.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Yeah, so it was more, bad sex. But I feel like in my 20s, I haven't reflected, like I haven't remembered enough, but I feel like I did not come often in my 20s.
Yes.
Yes.
True. And now
And I had a lot of sex,
I
but-
always do now. I always say that.
I pretty much always do. There's the rare occasion when I don't, but
Yes.
also often with new partners, it takes me a little bit of time to warm up. Like I have to
yes.
feel like I can either that I don't respect them and I don't give a fuck, and so I can come, or what's more the case is that I actually just feel safe with them and like
that's
good with them,
nice.
and then I can come. But if I've got any kind of uncertainty about my safety, and when I say safety, I mean just like someone accepting me or liking me and me liking them, then if there's any like uncertainty regarding that, it really blocks my orgasm.
Oh, okay. Jazzy. Not jazzy.
Not jazzy.
Not jazzy at all.
I'd say more, I don't know, the opposite of jazzy.
unjazzy.
Sorry.
Yeah, you
I
just have a little...
just started towing you with my
Oh,
on your legs.
goodness me. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So that's what my bad sex has been, just like bad chemistry. Really.
Yes. Goodness me.
I had one situation also last year where I was having sex with this guy, and the sex was going well. Like there was some decent oral, then there was like some good stuff, but then he got me on top of him. And have you ever had it when you're on top of someone and they like when you're on top, it's like you got to communicate. I don't know, like, do you want to be in control or do you want me to be in control? And we had this whole like fucked up communication with our bodies about who should be in control. So like,
Oh, dear.
I was on top, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna take the lead here, and then it wasn't like the rhythm was all off, and so then I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop and let him go, but then it was like he didn't. It was one of those moments in sex where you're like, if anyone was watching this, it would be so cringe right now. Like I'm cringing at us doing this right now.
Oh, dear.
It's
that sounds
so
awful.
awkward. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds very awkward.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
you got to be able to have a giggle in a moment like that.
Oh, I wanted to. Like, I was getting to the point of giggling, but also when you laugh during sex, I've got a history of where dudes will just like take it very badly.
Oh no, I never. We must just be sexing different people because all the people I'm sexing are very giggly. Are you having a giggle? They're all
No,
laughing.
I don't fuck gigglers.
Oh no, I love a giggle.
Like, I'm the giggler and I have to suppress the giggle. I love a giggle too, but so
no.
many dudes have been like, they lose, like, it's like laughing kills their boner.
No, I don't like these people.
Okay.
Nah, don't
Like,
like
not
that at
always,
all.
but my history is that for sure.
Wow. Okay, because I would say my flotation is a very jokey in nature,
Me too.
and then the jokes just follow into the bedroom.
That's like my brain follows me into their bedroom, but they have historically reacted poorly to laughter.
Wow. Do you find that women are a bit more up for a chuckle?
Usually in the situations I've been in, it hasn't been like a chuckle moment. It's been more like a hot, heavy sex vibe only.
Oh dear, I don't know how I feel about this. I just love a chuckle.
Chuckle sex.
Yeah, no, I guess there's also okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, why are my sexual situations so serious? I don't know. I'm like, well, let's be sexy now.
Yeah, like I mean, usually you have a very passionate moment, and then, but then you're always stopping for a chuckle. So
We're definitely fucking different people. I don't know. That's like I haven't had many partners where it's been, chuckling during sex.
yeah, wow. Oh God, I can't believe it.
Yeah, which is weird, huh?
Yep.
Given that, like there's been some, but yeah.
How are you meeting these people?
Out partying or apps or like friends of friends or.
But not like after a gig,
Yeah, there's been people after gigs, sure.
and they can't take a little joke.
It's just usually when people have laughed during sex, like maybe it's just that they laugh so much the boner just disappears.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
A lot of people haven't been able to stay hard when they laugh.
Wow. Oh God. Oh my goodness.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, I've got some exes that I'm thinking of that are like very funny and that we would have funny times during sex. I'm trying to think if like they broke that, but like it's like once we were fucking, like usually the chuckling stops.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
I think this episode's definitely going to be called something like funny sex.
Well, yeah. There's that whole term of chuckle fuckers. You heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
People-
sorry. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
But don't be moving out of the frame.
I'm not moving out of the frame. I'm right here. You're kind of turning your back to me now.
Oh, sorry. No, because I'm so self-conscious of my socks, I might as well just get them out. Like
Your socks?
They're just like a bit ugly. We've got a bit hole in the bottom. I don't know if people can see.
But do you like them?
Well, I'm wearing them because they're warm. I'm not wearing them because they're jazzy.
Okay, but
Which is also because look at mine compared to yours. Like,
my socks are fun.
yeah. So
They're waving the flag. For the listeners. I'm wearing rainbow socks, and Freddie's got
I've got
warm socks.
thermal socks that used to be blue and have now gone grey, and they've got some holes.
Yeah, that's all right.
Oh well.
Anyway, that's okay. But chuckle fuckers, yeah. Like I have picked up a few people from gigs, sure.
Oh God, I haven't. I'm still waiting for it.
Oh, okay. It's better than fucking comedians for sure. You got to stop doing that at some point. Yeah. What do you?
Oh no,
laugh
I just wondered if this would come up. I was thinking about this before. I was like, we're gonna talk about this.
It always comes up. It's
Yeah.
In my first few years of comedy, I got to a number that I needed to do something about. It got very high, and so I decided the rule was no more comedians.
Yeah.
And I do the occasional slip, but it's usually pretty solid.
It's hard though because
There we go. That's the clock
sort of
again.
a judgy clock.
It's yeah. I think that's the Westminster Minster
Minster,
vibe.
yeah, true. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very
judgy.
true. It is hard though because it's like you spend so much time with these people, and it's like, when am I meeting other people?
And they're good times usually.
They're good time. They're funny people.
They're funny people, and like, yeah, you're hanging out with them. They're good times. They get you. They get what you go through.
Yes, it's so nice to like chat to someone and just be like just say something really traumatic that happened to you, and everyone just laughs.
Laughs. Totally. It's the most comfortable conversational environment being with comics, because it's like, you can say something that's not funny and people understand that you're not going to be cracking out gold every moment.
Yeah.
You can like say,
yes, because then when you hang out with someone who's not a comedian, they find out you're a comedian, they're just like waiting for you to always say something funny.
yeah,
Just
and
like,
the pressure is just
dude,
like,
sometimes I'm switching off, you know what I mean?
I'm off and off. I'd say I'm always off. But yeah, so fucking comedians is a natural hazard of the job for sure.
Maybe it's fine.
I think it's fine, but it's it gets to a point where it's like, yeah, it got to a point for me where it's like, it can only be if this is going to be like a relationship, or someone who I know I can have like quite a mature, when it works, kind of, you know, friend with benefits vibe.
Yeah.
But when you tour as well, it's like, touring doesn't count, you know. If you're on tour, if you're in a different city, it doesn't count.
What goes on tour stays on tour, blah, 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 blah.
It doesn't count. Like, if they're not in your scene, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so now is the moment, really, if I want to be rooting some other comedians.
Well,
I
yes,
should be hitting them on the
fest, into those international or
get funky during the fest.
interstate comedians, yes. And then, yeah, when you go up to like Bendigo, you know, that's your time to shine.
Why did you say Bendigo?
Because you said you went to Bendigo for a gig. Oh, I've hit something. Yeah, look, whenever I tour, it's like, it doesn't add to your numbers, you know. It's because it's a different city.
Oh, right, it's like a separate little category.
scoreboard. Yeah.
Great. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good lord. Oh,
Yeah,
I got
good
a bit
lord.
teary there.
But look, chuckle fuckers are all right. Like a lot of women comics complain that they don't get that opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't understand that, but but look, like I, you know, do some flirty crowd work. You talk after the show.
I know, that's the thing is,
Bada bing,
my
bada boom.
persona on stage is like, kind of a bit of a, I don't know that it's that attractive, you know what I mean?
It's you.
It is like a heightened version of me, but it's maybe not the most attractive version of me, you know? Because I'm on stage and I'm like, "G'day, everybody, how we going?" You know, like, and it's like, "Do you want to have sex with that?"
Well, sure, it's part of you.
Yeah,
no?
okay.
Like,
Well,
if they don't
I'm
wanna
not
fuck
getting any
that-
offers. That's all.
Not yet.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's young. How long have you been doing comedy for?
I've been doing comedy for a year and a half.
Okay, fucking early days, mate.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry. I think my peak, like I started to get the people from the audience probably after like it was about a year and a half. No, about 2 years. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm coming up.
You're coming up, baby.
I'm coming up.
Coming up. Definitely got some freaks, and so started making a rule: no people from the audience.
Yeah.
But then I met some good people and continued. Like, there were 2 guys that I met from audiences that I saw for a
nice.
while.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
And like good people.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a bad thing. And look, my stage persona, I think a lot of people like it's always an exaggerated version of yourself, but obviously mine's quite sexual, or you know. But that's just where my mind goes. But I think that's just me anyway.
Well, I'm quite sexual.
Oh, yeah.
But have we?
I don't
Have
think
you seen me before?
I don't think I've seen
Yeah,
you before.
there you go.
No.
God, this was a gamble getting me on here.
I knew your vibe. I was like, this is gonna be good times.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say quite sexual, but just sort of, I guess if you...
I'm pretty gross sexual though.
Yes, but I guess for the listeners, if they want to imagine, like, you know, your kind of elderly aunt that, like, used to work in a library.
Mm-hmm. That's your vibe?
But, like, she's always, like...
A bit predatory?
Maybe a little bit, yeah. I don't know. She's like... Yeah, she's just like, "Oh, me and your uncle are still getting down." I feel like that's kind of what I'm like on stage.
That's nice. I like that though.
I don't know where it came from. I don't know.
That's attractive though, I think, for some people.
Yeah.
I think the chuckle fuckers are coming your way, baby.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen.
Let's see.
Let's see. Let's see.
DMs are open.
DMs are open. Freddie Arthur.
Yes.
Is there an underscore in there? At the
No,
end?
I've got the full slog in there.
You got there,
I
Freddie
don't know how I
Arthur.
managed that,
How
but I
did you
did.
manage that?
Must have just made it early on in the piece.
Yeah, that's quite impressive. Mine's
Yeah.
AF Barros, which is kind of like my thing for everything, which is Anna, and then my middle name.
And a freaking Barros.
Anna fucking Barros. No, as fuck Barros. No, it's Francesca.
Francesca.
Mm.
I was thinking about this today because I know someone called Frankie, and I thought, how fun would it be if your name was Frankie?
Yes.
And then people would be like, oh, is it short for Francesca? And you could just be like, no, it's short for Frankston. It was funny. It was funnier at Flinders Street when I thought of it at the train station. But
Frankston is just so funny. Like it's all like Franger.
it's a
Frankston.
punchline for a lot of jokes.
It's so fucking funny. I remember my first, like, the love of my life in my like my first love, not the love of my life. That's my partner right now. But my first love, his brother, he was very cool, and his brothers were very cool. And
Hello.
hello, and they. I remember his little brother had this little rap song, which went, your mum lives on the Frankston line. Your mum lives on the Frankston line. Your mum lives on the Frankston line. And damn, she's fine.
Oh, that is fun.
That's cute.
Did you live here when they had MX, the newspaper?
Yes.
Oh God, I miss
The
it.
MX. Oh my God, that was the newspaper, the train newspaper.
It was so good.
It was good.
But it was obviously very cheaply printed because you'd read it and then afterwards your fingers would just be covered in ink.
And they used to have a little section where you could write in and be like, I saw this I saw this guy on the train and he was wearing this, and hey, I'm the girl that was looking at you, and if this is please get in touch.
Oh, so cute. And I never got around to doing it, but
What
like
was the name of
sometimes
that section? Do you remember?
here's looking at you or something.
Oh,
maybe?
he is looking at
But
you.
I was,
Good job.
yeah, because there was sometimes they'd organise to meet up, and I was like, how fucking sick would it be to just like hide behind a pillar and just like watch?
Okay, that got weird. I thought you were going to say, how sick would it be to like meet someone from the MX who's looking at you? But no, you got voyeuristic and yeah, very creepy. That's cool.
Oh, God.
Hide behind a pillow. Like, what do you like? Do they meet on the train?
Well, because they'd write in there and it'd be like, hey, to the guy in the red hat on the Frankston train at this time, blah blah blah, and then they'd be like, hi, I was the guy in the red hat. I don't know why his voice sounds like this. I was the guy in the red hat. Let's meet up. And then it'd be like, oh cool, let's meet under the clocks at Flinders Street at this time. And then I'd be like, oh my God, if I just happened to be there.
Yes, totally. But they never wrote they would put each other in contact somehow. They didn't write was it the whole conversation that came through the
Well,
newspaper?
because you're not going to be like, hey, here's my number, because then anyone could message you. So they would literally just be like, meet me under the clock.
I assume that in the letter to the MX, they would be like, they would write that, and then if the other person responded, then they'd share each other's details.
Well, I saw
That was my
someone.
logic.
Well, I don't know. I mean, was any of it real? You know
Yeah,
what
it's
I mean?
true.
Like-
It's true. And there were horoscopes that were very reliable in the MX, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
Weren't there? I think it
I
had
don't know.
horoscopes.
I've
I think
never
that's the
been a-
main reason I listened.
I've never been a
read
big
it.
horoscope gal.
Oh, I'm a big old horoscope. Like,
Um,
it's very unpopular. It makes me sound way less educated. Like, I don't know. It's not a cool thing to be into.
I think it's a big thing for the queers, isn't it?
For the queers. It's big with the gays, isn't it?
There's a section on Field that's like, on Her, the app, the
I haven't
dating
been
app,
on
and it's
Her.
like, there's a section and you like pick what kind of activities you're into, and there was a section that was like called queer things or something, and astrology was in there, and I was like,
Gay.
I was like, hang on a minute, I think you've co-opted something there.
I don't think that astrology is queer. I think it's just like basic bitch shit. That's basically what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe the basic bisexuals or something.
Basic sexuals,
Basic-
bisexuals.
yeah.
I don't know. Look, I grew up with my parents. Like my mum always having astrology
I grew up with my
books.
parents.
I grew up with my parents.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What a fucking flex.
What a flex. But yeah, my mum always had like sun signs and like other astrology books that were, you know,
Yeah.
like well regarded in the 70s. And so I spent a lot of time reading about astrology as a young person, and took it through, and then realized how dumb it was, and then hid it from everybody. But I have a very big foundation of astrological knowledge that
I don't know that it's stupid though. Like it's all like based on patterns and stuff, right?
Yeah, but it's like I think if you look at it, it's got about as much, credibility as like religion.
Wow. And there you go.
And I don't know, but I do enjoy it, and I have found a lot of patterns in it, and it is very. What star sign are you?
Well, guess.
No, I don't do that shit. Okay, let me guess.
No, I mean if you know about them, you might.
I know about it, but I
some
don't.
traits. Do you want me to just tell you some traits? Conflict avoidant.
I'm not really good at it actually.
Well,
I only know the star signs of people that I know well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, true. Actually, we don't actually know each other that well.
No, but I mean,
Was it the fourth time we've met?
Yeah. But no, also I mean more like I don't know all the star signs that well. It's like
okay.
I know the star signs of the people that have been important in my life.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, the reason I guess that I say guess is because people nearly always guess.
Okay. All right.
So I'm very stereotypical.
Okay. So give me the
All right,
characteristics.
so conflict avoidant. It's one of the likable ones.
Okay. What else?
I don't know, friendly or something maybe. I think kind, balanced.
Sorry, that was mean. No, you say balanced.
No.
Okay, so you're saying Libra.
Yeah. That's all right.
You
chuck
gave
that
it to
in
me.
there,
Yeah. Okay, I'm unlikable. I'm very much what my star sign is.
Is it Capricorn or Cancer? Which one of those?
Oh, my podcast is called Adults Only, so I'm very sexual and I'm unlikable. So what's the unlikable sexual star sign?
Leo?
No.
Scorpio?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Scorpio.
Yeah. So you're Libra. So my mum is Libra.
Yes.
You guys drive me crazy.
Libras.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Should have said indecisive. Because that's what a Libra
yeah.
is famous for. So maybe you guys don't have OCD. You're just
OCD,
Libra.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, wow. But I don't know what time I was born, so I can't do all that other shit. I've got to ring up the hospital and say, look, what time was I born?
Like I need this.
Yeah.
I need this.
Sort
Yeah.
of, yeah.
Because then you can get all the deets, all the ins and outs.
I mean, it's just kind of interesting, isn't it?
It is interesting. Like I'm very textbook Scorpio. Like I don't think if you read out the other star signs, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's me. Like really with Scorpio, it's like, oh shit, that's fucking.
So is that quite a sexual one? Isn't it?
Yeah. What are our stereotypes? We're known for we're often considered jealous, all right, possessive, mysterious, quite private with our stuff. I don't know about that. But I guess some people do say that I'm a bit mysterious, but I feel like I tell everyone everything. So I don't know. This podcast.
Yeah.
And then what else are we known for? You're passionate and whatever.
Oh, great.
Maybe that's why I'm not chuckling in sex, because I'm so passionate. It all comes down to me just being a scorp.
Well, I'd love to know if anyone else, I'm guessing you have different comments or someone can message in.
People never fucking do.
Oh,
no.
come on, people, please, come on.
I know.
Because I'd love to know if anyone else is having these sexual tics.
It's very interesting, sexual tics. That's so
I mean, I get them
interesting.
at other times as well, but
What-
like
and you've-
they are probably worse during sex. And I've had to have a lot of doctor's appointments trying to work out what they are. And of course, they're like, okay, so when do you get them the most? And I'm like, well,
Well, just touch me here.
yeah. So
It's very interesting. So so when are the other times that they happen? You said moments of frustration, but also of orgasm. It's interesting that they're connected.
Well, I think it's also particularly if the orgasm was quite hard to come by.
Oh, so it's stronger if it's a hard orgasm. As in, like, it's been a long-awaited orgasm.
Yeah, I think so, maybe.
So maybe that's why you don't do it when you're by yourself, because you know how to get yourself there, boom, boom. But it happens when it's taken a long time for you to come.
True.
So it's maybe pent-up frustration.
Yeah.
Because I've had... it's not the same at all. I've had...
God, why am I wasting my time with these fucking doctors?
Just talk to me. No. But I've had it in sex where I've been so frustrated that I've ground my teeth to the point where I thought I might break my teeth.
Jeepers.
When I've been with a partner.
With a sexual
partner. Sexual. But that was one of the sort of, I felt like things were coming to an end, but it was at this point with him that I really only like I really almost broke my teeth because I was so frustrated that I was just so not enjoying our sex, and I just wasn't getting anywhere, and what he wanted to do was not what I wanted to do, like as in moments, you know, and it was just like, this is going nowhere, and I was so fucking angry
Yeah.
that like I managed to, you know, get my shit together and move out of it, but it was a lot. So I can understand maybe pent up aggression
Yeah.
then leading to some level of like what would you call it, like like kinetic overwhelm, or I don't know, not kinetic, but like you lose control of your
Oh yeah, like
know
so when it
what a
when it
tick is,
happens, it's
yeah.
just like "Rah!"
Yeah,
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 little explosion.
yeah, because
Yeah.
because both you come, which is an explosion anyway, and then it's the release of all of that frustration.
Yeah, true. Yeah, yeah.
It's fucking fascinating, man.
It is. It is quite.
So what are the other
interesting.
times it happens?
Oh, oh, it happens because it's also triggered sometimes just by like if I see someone else have a tick.
Interesting.
So like if I'm on the tram, like I notice other people's ticks a lot more now because I'll just be on the tram or the train or whatever, and I'll just see someone like jerking their head a little bit. You might even have to put a warning on this video letting people know.
Okay.
Because it can set off other people's ticks.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll see people doing them, and then I'll start doing them, and then I'm like, it happened on the tram, and then there was another person behind me, and then it ended up there was three of us.
Like
all
a
doing
Mexican
it.
wave of
And then
ticks.
and then there was this one woman sort of trapped between the three of us, and I thought, this poor woman, like, we're just all sort of like in this weird sort of like jerky dance, and she was really confused. I mean, I knew what was going on, but she must have been losing her shit.
That's so interesting that ticks set off other people's ticks.
Yeah. It's really
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I've never heard that.
yes, it is. It is quite the Billy Boy.
Okay.
And then even other things will.
The Billy Boy is a brand of condoms.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness me.
Just so you know. I didn't know that was an expression, so I just thought I'd let
It's
you
not.
know.
It's not. I'm making it up.
Billy Boy.
But the other thing that might set it off is improv. Yeah.
You're talking specifically like improv games, or are you
Yes,
talking like any
improv games, yeah.
like the actual? I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Because they're all like, oh, let's like, and I'm just like, okay, it's coming. So.
I love that improv
Yeah.
sets off your dick.
But even I think it's almost like a bit of a muscle memory thing because if I walk into like there's the Improv Conspiracy in Melbourne in the city, and as soon as I walk in there, I feel I'm fizzing under the skin.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
Fizzing under the skin. That's a great expression.
yeah, so
Wow. Okay. Well, then, for everyone who's got tics, this is avoid improv. Or do you want to avoid, or do you want to embrace it? I don't know. Is it a thing to avoid?
the thing is, I think I try and just have as much fun with it as possible. I always try and have a giggle with it. If it gets really bad, it can get kind of painful. So then I'm like, I'll just go and like listen to some music, read a book, whatever. It's happened a few times when I've been in like car trips with like comedians, and then it's like I don't always know the people that well, and so I've got to be like, hey everyone, just having a little tic episode. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So I think I think the thing is people don't know how to react.
Yeah.
Someone recently that I know does this really good thing where they'll just kind of acknowledge it, but then they just carry on the conversation.
Yes.
So I'll like start doing it, and they'll just go exactly, and then they'll just keep going, which I think is really good because I think part of it for me is maybe sometimes it's triggered by a bit of dissociation and being like, am I still in the room? Have I disappeared? And then so I'll do it, and I'll be like, and then someone will just be like, and then just keep going.
Yeah.
But
I think ignoring it completely lacks
ignoring
respect.
it completely is. I find really embarrassing because then I also wonder, am I even doing it or am I imagining it?
Ooh la la, that's
Which
that's a
is
head
which is
fuck,
really
huh?
a weird one.
Yeah.
And then I'm also like, I don't want people to feel sorry for me either.
No, the
you
pity
know,
thing is
the pity
not-
is terrible.
no.
So but just some things that I do, like a lot of meditative things. It's just like, what can I see? What can I hear? Like sort of tuning in with all the getting a bit more presence. Yes.
Yes.
And then if I notice I've got one, if I start jerking my head a lot, what I'll do is then I'll like purposely jerk my head, but like try and like do it in a more kind of like calm movement. Because I think the energy needs to get out. It's built up in there. I don't know. It's been sitting in there all my life. I don't know what's.
It's very, yeah. I guess there'd be quite a bit of research on it, but I feel like suppressing it obviously would only make it worse.
Yeah, it makes it much worse. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to let him go.
You gotta
Yeah,
let it go, and then
yeah.
so interesting.
But it's a strange one to get in an Uber.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Just as you said that there was the silence, and then there's just the ticking of the clock, and it all kind of was coming together in my head. But yeah, I feel like Ubers are always a strange environment for everything.
Oh, God.
I've had some good ones here though, where they really just let me like ignore me, and I love that. I love a silent. Oh no, I love a silent.
I know,
Like
yeah.
I used to love the chin wag,
Yeah.
but these days, holy shit, I just like silence. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of go with what the vibe is. Sometimes you can tell they just want to drive and not have a
Sure,
yeah.
but often you get in and they do go in for the chat, and I've gotten so good at acknowledging them, but then clearly giving enough energy and body language that says I don't want to chat.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think for me, I'm always like, if I've got to the point where I've had to get an Uber or a DD or whatever, I really beat myself up about wasting money. So then I get in the car and I'm like, I'm going to make the most of this. And then so I have a chat.
That's
And
interesting
it
that
often
having a
calms
chat
me-
is making
I
the
know,
most of
isn't
it.
it bizarre? It's because I guess,
But it calms you down.
it calms me down having
The anxiety
chat,
of having made this
Yeah.
investment that doesn't
Yeah.
feel very responsible.
Well, then it just feels like, oh, now I've had a connection, you know? Like, and then I'm like, oh, that was a beautiful connection.
See, now the thing is, I've got like, there's a few different angles on this one, but I found like in Germany, for example, I used to always take the opportunity to chat because it's a good way to practice my German.
Yep.
And but the years I've got of chatting with taxi drivers, it's so often the case that I end up having quite a disappointing or kind of like predatory interaction where it's like either there's some level of hitting on me or hitting on me for their son, or there's some level of judgment in my lifestyle that I get from them, and or some kind of like and so I end up going, you know what, like for the majority of the interactions I have, I don't actually get goodness from it, so it's not like a good connection. It's a reminder that there is lots of different types of people in the world, and that's fine, but a lot of people who don't think that I live in a good way, or you know,
that's fair, yeah.
or who think that I am, or who treat me a bit as an object. But I also have lots of interactions. Like I had a taxi driver last night, where there's the light your way home thing, right? And I've only used it twice over the festival. So for people listening, it's an initiative by the Melbourne Comedy Festival to give money and basically like credit, basically taxis home, like Uber's home that the festival pays for in case you're feeling like, in case, you know, you need to get home safely.
Yeah,
And
in the memory of Eurydice Dixon, I think.
Yes. And so the thing is, though, for the festival, the first time I used it, I got an email immediately afterwards saying, please only use this for like when you really need it. And it was like, and I was like, yeah, I did really need it because I had 3 dudes that were very into talking to me in a way that wasn't really judging the social, like getting the social cues. And it was, you know, 11, like getting out of there at 11:30 at night, and then needing to walk to, you know, the tram stop, which is a little bit of and I just felt like, you know what, there's too much interest right now, and I haven't taken a taxi the whole time I've been here. I'm gonna get an Uber home. And so then I got this email, and it was like, dude, I did that for my safety. Like I didn't feel very safe.
Don't make people feel bad about
So then,
sort of undoing the good work.
kind
in a
of.
sense, yeah.
Now I understand that there was probably one last tram going, and maybe there would have been a last train going, but I didn't want to do the walk, to be honest, at that point. And I don't often do that, but it came to my head. I'm glad I went with my intuition. I just did it, and then I got the email. I was like, okay. So I put the whole thing out of my head. I was like, I've been catching public transport. I've even paid for my own Ubers, whatever. And then last night it was late, and I was like, oh, I can do the thing. And then I get in this taxi, in this Uber, and I've had really nice taxi drivers the whole time where, you know how you can just sense energy?
Yeah.
And even if someone's silent, you can sometimes I'll have it where I can sense an aggression or like some kind of like just bad vibes even when they're silent. And the
Yeah.
taxi driver last night, I keep saying the Uber guy last night was, and I don't consider myself a paranoid person. I do feel like my ability to read energies has gotten a lot stronger, and I don't doubt it anymore because I'm pretty much sober all the time now.
Yeah.
And I just had this, and it was annoying because it was like I was charging this, initiative for the Uber, but I actually felt quite unsafe with
In
him.
the car.
Yeah, and to the point where I was actively checking which way he was driving because I was like, where is he going? Like he kept doing these weird maneuvers, and I was like, okay. And then and it was like maybe in that situation I should have talked to him because maybe that would have relieved my anxiety about him maybe thinking fucked up. Like I feel like sometimes when I feel that energy, maybe it's me just picking up on them thinking maybe fucked up thoughts.
Yeah, potentially.
I don't
And
know.
I guess you also don't know maybe he's actually like, yeah, I don't know. It is hard because I make too many excuses for people. Like I often don't listen to my gut. Yeah. So I get a bit of a red flag and then I'm like, OCD kicks in again and maybe like some trauma stuff. But I think, oh no, you're a bad person for thinking bad things about that person. Instead of just being like, no, I got a really bad gut instinct about that person and I need to listen to it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It is a bit of a tricky.
Yeah. But just in terms of the chatting thing, like maybe chatting is a good, maybe that's what I should start doing when someone's bothering me vibe-wise. But also it's like, I've also had some fucking creepy, in Germany we have Bolt as well, which is the other kind of Uber. And I've had some really scary Bolt drivers in the last, because it's been winter in Berlin. And so usually I ride my bike everywhere, but in winter, it's like if it's fucking freezing and cold, I'll just get a car if it's like €10 home. And some creepy dudes. But trust your gut, Freddie.
You have to trust your gut.
Do that.
Yep.
And fuck being a bad person, you know what I mean? So
I know.
So what? I know I'm saying like so what? It's not easy. It's a whole process you got to go through. But I think we should probably wrap up because it is only 5:30, but I'm just trying to see how much we've recorded for. It's been bloody wonderful. Let's see. We've got how long have we done that? We've done it. Holy shit. We've been going for a while. Yeah, we've got an hour and a half. So let's
cool.
But before we wrap up, because we're not super time pressured, are there any stories or anything you wanted to bring up or ask or loop back around to or just share that we didn't? I'm just trying to think if there's anything I wanted to bring up. It can be a long thing as well. It's fine. Is there anything that springs to mind?
Goodness me.
I'm trying to think. Bad sex, we did that. Fucking comedians.
Well, is there anything that's like that you sort of talk about every episode that you're like, oh, I wonder what you think about this? I always ask people what they think about marshmallows or something.
No, I don't do that.
No, fair enough. Okay.
No. I usually bring up some kind of sexual things. I usually actually ask about people's dating life and how that's going because as much as the sex is interesting, it's always connected. But are you actively?
Oh, I mean, look, I find it really tricky, the dating, because I've got this anxious, avoidant, whatever he's called, attachment, I guess.
Style, yeah.
Style, baby.
Style.
It's style.
Style.
So I do find it quite tricky because I don't think I want a partner at the moment, but then I also, I think, get quite anxious about getting attached to someone and then them not being there, and then which can happen even with a partner anyway. So I think it's just I think I do find it quite tricky, and then I worry about like that I'm going to be a burden on someone and all that kind of stuff. Like, so much stuff goes through the brain. So and then recently I've been trying to make more of an effort to date women. And so I downloaded a couple of apps, and then I just noticed straight away that like I was just matching with a lot of men. So immediately my bisexual doubt kicked in, and it was just like, I don't know if you've heard of this with OCD. It's pretty common to have like sexuality OCD, where you're just doubting your sexuality.
Interesting. No, I have not heard of this. That's interesting.
So that immediately kicked in, and it was just like, Ooh, I noticed we're matching with a lot of men on here. Are we even a bisexual or are we just doing it for the bit? And I was like, oh my God.
I've had those thoughts, but I think it's a spectrum, right?
Yeah.
It's always a fucking spectrum. And there
Yeah.
are women that I'm super attracted to. Very few. There are
Yeah.
very few women that I will and have made efforts for. I will happily have sex with women if it's in like some natural sex environment, but like actually seeking out a woman and going, pursuing her
Yeah,
for
okay, yep.
for romance, sex, love, whatever, seldom. But it
Yeah,
still
okay.
happens. And because it
Yeah.
still happens, it's like, that's enough,
Yeah,
And I happily, there's no part of me when I have sex with women that I'm going like, this is wrong. It's just like, this isn't, like, there's just so few women that I'm super drawn to that I
Yeah,
haven't actually
okay.
had sex with many. I haven't had really sex with any women that I was like, I want to be with her.
Yeah, okay, interesting.
It's been more of just
Yeah.
like you're here and you're nice and like I'm happy to do this and this is nice, but I haven't been like hungry for that person. But
Yeah.
but there are women out there that I have felt like that with, but more way like out of 100 times it is like 99, or maybe the number's even more worse. It's like out of 200 times it's 199 dicks and
Yeah.
one woman. So
Well, so I was like, no, I'm really going to make an effort with it. So I was like, and then eventually I did like this person,
Mm-hmm.
and it was this person who in their description of their profile, they said androgynous lesbian. And that was it, no other information. And I was like, okay,
the photos
cool.
wouldn't have said that. What a bitch.
The fucking photos was a very masculine looking person
Okay.
with
So
very-
even in your what women you like, they're masculine.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
And then so it was a very masculine like body. There were a lot of like topless photos, and I was like, oh, okay, this is a very masculine looking lesbian or whatever. We can get behind that. And then I thought, well, I don't know what's going on for them. They might be gender queer. They might, but I was like, I'm going to trust the label that they've put on there.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, whatever. And then I've matched with this person, and then it was like, okay, it's all good. We are bisexual. We've matched with this androgynous lesbian. It's all fine. And then this person's like, oh, hey, I'm actually a dude. I just say I'm a lesbian for fun. And I was like, I deleted the app. I was so upset. I was just like, I'm laughing about it now. It's fun. We can have a wee giggle. But goodness me, I was just like, oh, this is... Because it just affirmed all of my doubts. I was just like, oh, look. The only woman you matched with was a fucking man.
That's fucking great, dude.
Yeah.
There will be more, and like you just started doing it, and look, I have a very. I was saying this to a comic last night, Uruj. We were talking about our lesbian tendencies, and I said, look, I've got a very specific type. It seems when I am attracted to women, and that type is usually, and it's gonna not sound good, but it's usually East Asian or Southeast Asian. It's like a total look. There was once a blonde woman that somehow there was something, she was like Eastern European, I think, or maybe she was just German, I can't remember, but like I was once attracted to this woman, this like like a Caucasian woman who I was so attracted to her. I was really like this close to just pulling her into a bathroom cubicle. She was with her boyfriend. I was so attracted to her. But all the other ones have always been like, there were 2 Indonesian women that like girls in high school that I had massive crushes on or had sex with. And then since then, the women that I've really been attracted to have always conformed to this kind of nationality or regional appearance. And I don't know why that is. Like usually other women are just like, they're absolutely like sisters to me. Like I don't feel anything.
Okay. Yeah.
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 So, yeah. Although that said, like I met Sarah Keyworth.
Oh.
And they are fucking super attractive.
Yeah.
They were like, oof. Yeah. Okay. So again, like, definitely not particularly, femme presenting at all, and very attractive. So I don't know.
Well, non-binary, I think. Yeah.
Non-binary. Yeah. But like, not like a femme non-binary.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
Sarah, is Sarah here for the festival?
yeah. I chatted with them last week on the weekend. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
My friend Gory's like, oh, they follow me on Instagram. I can go and talk to them. And so went and chatted to them, and yeah,
Oh, wow.
they're lovely.
I'd be losing my shit, I reckon.
Yeah, I was pretty nervous, and then we're quite awkward, and then yeah, but chatted.
Yeah,
It was
great.
nice. Yeah, very cool. So yeah, I can totally relate to.
Yeah.
But I fucking love dicks. You know, I love a penis, and I like men, and I'm always like it's very easy for me to be down to fuck a dude.
Yeah.
Like usually, you know, not everyone, but it's much easier for me to want that than it is for a
Yeah,
woman
and
to
I just
spark
have to
that.
be like, that's okay. That's
It's
for
okay.
me. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a scale. It's all right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a spectrum. It's a whatnot. It's a salad.
It is a salad. All right.
It's a salad, not a skewer.
Is it?
No, I don't know. I'm thinking of like, yeah, never mind. I don't think that works.
Barbecue.
Yeah, I'm thinking like like when you have like some capsicum and maybe a bit of pineapple and a skewer.
Yeah. Is that the penis?
Um.
No, it's the arrangement of
it's the sexuality.
Okay.
You can just take all of that off the skewer and just put it in a bowl. And
Yes.
I've got it in a bowl.
You've got it in a bowl. Yeah, for sure. You lost me a little bit there, but
I think yes.
All right, so people can find you at Freddie Arthur. That's Freddie with IE.
IE, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Arthur. Nice.
Yep.
And you're doing your shows sold out next week. Your other show at the
Yeah.
festival.
So I had one last night that we sold out, and then we've got one next week sold out, and then
Called Crackpot Comedy.
Crackpot Comedy, yes, at Unassigned Gallery. It's like a independent artist run space in Brunswick, which is very cute.
Nice.
So
Perfect.
love that. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Yeah.
And then check Freddie out in Melbourne.
Yeah, please.
If you're in Bendigo sometimes.
Bloody Bendigo.
or other places.
Bendigo, the gig's called Laughs in the Ghetto. If you want to come along to that, at the Golden Vine Hotel. I'm actually really looking forward to it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really fun time.
Well,
So-
join Freddie at the Golden Vine Hotel.
Yeah, Bendigo, baby.
For laughs in the ghetto.
Yeah.
In the go. All right. Well, I've got 2 more weeks of this. As in 2 more runs, like week runs of the festival here. So I will be leaving Melbourne on the 25th of April. And going back to Berlin. So I'll probably put in another episode before I go. But guys, this has been Adults Only Comedy Berlin in Melbourne. Thank you so much for being here, Freddie.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a wacky good time.
A wacky good time. All right.
God. Terrible.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye. Oh, bye.
Bye.